So a lot of the questions I've been getting in from my social media are, why am I doing the Arnold Classic and why am I not doing the Olympia? So I want to answer that. The Arnold Classic holds very dear to me. It's an amazing show, classed as one of the most prestigious shows in the world, and for me it's played a very big part in building my career and my career to date so far. So I won it as an amateur in 2013, which gave me my pro card, gave me an avenue into America and to keep progressing in the pro leagues. And then I was fortunate enough to win the pro show, Arnold Classic, in 2017, 4 years later, which was something I'd worked towards, and it's something I wanted to achieve before attacking the Olympia stage or winning that Olympia title. So that helped with my profile in America, helped me get front covers and additional work, sponsorships, and it made my passion into a job which I loved and I still love to date. So to hear it's coming to the UK, the first time the Arnold Classic is going to be held in the UK, it just felt like a calling to me, that especially with everything that's gone on last year and the fact that when I did the 2020 Olympia, I had to leave my family, my newborn, isolate in Dubai and then get to America. I was away for 6 weeks and I just hated the whole process. I don't want to be a bad dad, I don't want to not be there for him. So for me, I was having a year out because they came first and I didn't want to miss doing the travelling. So when the Arnold came to the UK, it felt like it was meant to be. It felt like my family, friends would be able to watch me on stage, because obviously travelling away, competing in America, not a lot of my family get to see it. Also, the UK, I've not competed in the UK for nearly a decade. The last time I did, I was an amateur. So yeah, I don't know, there was just something about everything about competing back in the UK just feels right. And I need a new goal as well. Going to the Olympia every year, having a year out, trying to grow, and just coming back to the Olympia each year, I kind of like, I won't say fell out of love, but just lost that drive towards it. But now I've got a new goal, the Arnold Classic title. No one's won that title before. It's up for grabs. There's some amazing athletes competing there. So it's going to be a dogfight, but I'm up for it and I cannot wait for it. So I'm not going to lie, there's a hell of a lot of pressure on me for the Arnold this year. I'm the guy who everyone's going for, because without coming across cocky, I don't mean to sound cocky, but obviously being on the Olympia stage, placing second in the world, these guys are hungry and they want to prove themselves, and the ultimate goal is to get on that Olympia stage. So if they could be a top 5 contender, a top 2 contender at the Olympia, it puts their name right up there. And the only reason I know that is because that's how I feel and how my mentality is. So there are some big pressures because there's a few guys who've already stepped on the Olympia stage, placed in the top 10, great athletes, so they're chasing down the door. And then there's guys who have to prove themselves and they want to prove themselves, and the younger generation, people who are 10 years younger than me, making a statement. So I know the pressures of it. People expect me to win it, which comes with its downfalls. I'm a guy who likes to train as an underdog, train in silence, no one's watching me, and just come in and do my job. Whereas I can't have that status here because I'm the Arnold Classic champion twice, because the Arnold Classic have got behind me in a way where they've helped promote the Arnold Classic by using some of my previous footage from winning the Arnold. It does kind of put that added pressure on. So I'm well aware of that, but that doesn't stop me from working hard, and I just need to work that bit harder in order to keep people away from me. So it's going to be, like I said before, a dogfight, and I'm well up for the challenge. Guys, so this is meal 1. I've got 120 grams of oats, I've got 30 grams blueberries, 1 tablespoon of peanut butter, so it's around 40 to 45 grams of weight fat, and then 2 scoops the impact whey from my protein. So as you can see, we are well into prep now. I've got my caliper readers later today to see exactly where we're at 12 weeks out. I'm now going to go training and get on with this prep. Right guys, so we're down here at Fusion 3. As you've seen before, I train here quite a lot, at least once a week because I get my physio down here. But today we're hitting shoulders and a bit of abdominals, and then recovery work, sauna, and we're going to actually talk to Johnny, my physio, about what we're going to implement, what we're putting in place for this Arnold Classic. So it's all about injury prevention and getting the best out of my workouts, getting the best out of me. So it's important this year to keep everything on point. Let's go.
So to date, I still believe that last year, so 2020, was Ryan's best look. That look there was the best I've ever seen him look, leading into any prep that I've worked with him for. Every day was chasing that 200 pounds so he could go to bed at 200 pounds, but he was waking up at like 195, 196, then would throughout the day eat and eat and eat just to try and make that weight again, because he was so frightened of being like too underweight for the stage weight kind of thing, and it turned out to be wrong. He'll openly admit that.
No excuses now. We're 12 weeks out from the Arnold. We're locked in, training's on point, food is going in, weight is up, I'm feeling positive, I cannot wait, let's go. Me and Dan have worked together for about 5 years, maybe going on 6 years. So every prep, we caliper read every 2 weeks and stuff, so we can have a reference to previous times, 12 weeks out, just to make sure I'm on track and that we're improving, and each year that we're putting weight on and we're putting muscle on.
Yeah, in comparison to 2019, so yeah, we were 95.2 kilos, we're now 99.5, so we've got a big chunk of extra weight there that we can account for. The body fat is starting lower, so whereas we were 12% back in 2019 at this stage, you're 10.9 today. Fat mass, 11.4 before, is 10.8 now, so you're lower in fat mass. But the big one really, and the one that, you know, my eyes and your eyes are drawn to straight away is the lean mass, which is 88.7,
right,
whereas you were 83.8 before.
So I'm Johnny Hands and I'm Ryan Terry's sports therapist. So my day-to-day role with Ryan mainly focuses around physical therapy. So we do a lot of deep tissue work, mobilisations, manipulations, but we also work on the kind of mental side and getting his head right for leading into competitions, and yeah, any negative thoughts that he might have, we try and change that around, and any problems he has with issues within his prep. But yeah, it's keeping him injury free. There's a lot of pressure on him, and he'll put a lot of pressure on himself, which rightly so as well. You know, he is a top level Olympian, and I believe there's maybe only one other on that stage, so yeah, a lot is expected of him. But looking at him the way he is now, at the start of the prep, 12-13 weeks, he's the biggest he's ever been at this stage, but with lower body fat. Already looking at his body, you can see certain things that, you know, are very good signs. You know, certain striations, certain way, certain muscles look. So I'm very, very confident about leading into the Arnolds.
Right guys, so we're not only building physiques in the gym, we're actually building furniture, because I'm multi-talented. But this is something I've been looking forward to for quite a while. If you saw on my previous clips on Instagram, ATM Outdoor Living hooking me up with that furniture set, a little plug. Make sure you check them out in the link below. But I've also gone for a sun lounger. So we're going to be doing this whilst we're having a chat mainly about where we're at currently with the Arnold Classic prep. We are just over 10 weeks now, so probably when this comes out it'll be up to the 10-week mark. I'll give you a little physique update as well, like showing you where we're at. But currently my weight is 219 pounds, which is nearly 100 kg if you're English, UK, Europe kind of measurements, which for me is very heavy at this stage. I'm normally down to like 210, if not a little less. So that's kind of what we're trying to do on this prep. We're going to try and not drop the hammer too quickly, keep full, keep the food going in, and try and see what you think. I'm a lot bulkier at the minute, and that's kind of where I want to be at, so I don't want to get too depleted and then be 4 weeks out just trying to hold condition, and that's kind of where I normally get to it. Hey lads, I'll get it. No, seriously, don't worry, I got it. The UK weather is never like this. It's always cold, miserable, raining, snowing, sleeting, and we get a few sunny days a year, and we've had a good run, a couple of weeks of it. So trying to top my tan up, and then that brings me nicely on to talk about tans when you're competing. And tan is so important. I think people don't understand really, if they've never competed before, how important it is, because when you're on stage and all the lights are showing, one, you've got nowhere to hide because it will highlight everything, but two, because they're so bright, because they want to light up say a hall or a stadium or whatnot, for the people at the back to see your physiques, the lights are that strong, they'll wash you out and they'll flatten you. So it's very important to get a good solid dark tan, and you walk around a couple of days before and everyone's looking at you like an Oompa Loompa and you look awful, but that's a good sign for when you get on stage and the lights hit you, it actually looks quite well. I've seen in previous preps where people have turned green on stage, and that's down to using deodorant, and that's the one thing you can't do for 2 or 3 days before a show, is use deodorant. It's minging really. You just have to rinse with water. Secondly, washing, like using moisturiser, things like that. It's very important to exfoliate all your dry skin, because that's when it becomes patchy, your tan. So if you are looking to compete and you haven't done so, make sure you really give the time and educate yourself on the tan, because it can go drastically wrong, and that's the difference between, it sounds silly, but first, second and last place tans, because that's what effectively everybody's looking at when they look at you on stage. So my rule of thumb would be 4 weeks out, 5 weeks out from your show, if you've never competed before, have a pre-run, try different tans and see how your skin tone basically connects with it, if it mixes well with your skin, because some tans don't and some do. So for me, Pro Tan mix really well, and I have 3 coats of the base tan, and that's normally enough for me with a glaze. I will, like I say, shave before, I'll exfoliate a couple of weeks before as well, so get my skin as ready as it can be before tanning up. Right, so let's cook meal 3. It's 12 o'clock-ish, we're going to be training in an hour, so I've got to get my workout meal in. I cook in bulk, so most of you, if you follow me for the past previous preps, you'll see that everything's cooked in bulk, so I can just come get my rice all cooked up. I've got my veg, so asparagus and broccoli, and then chicken's all cooked off. I've got my salmon here, and I've got my beef here as well. So a question that I get asked frequently is, do I ever cheat? Or if I cheat on a diet, what would it be? So I can honestly say, hand on heart, I've never cheated on any of my preps. Whatever I've set my plan out, I've never deviated off that. I don't know how to explain it, but I would rather pass out and get myself in a bit of a state rather than cheat, because mentally and physically it's not what you should be doing when you're on prep. So it sounds a bit weird saying that, but yes, I've never cheated on a diet. Yeah, so nutrition when you're prepping for a bodybuilding show is hands down the most important part of prep. So for me, I don't think meal times are important, but I do think it's important to make sure you get the right amount of calories in that 24-hour period you get each day. So for me, how my working day is and how I train and stuff, 5 big meals is sufficient, with a decent amount of carbs and liquid drinks around training. As I get close to the show, I'll reduce the portion sizes and then increase to 6 meals. So that's how I've always done it. It doesn't really matter. Like I say, some people do 4 meals, 4 solid meals, a couple of shakes and whatnot, but as long as you're getting those calories in and it's working for you, then there's no set plan and everybody's different. So leg day, this is what I resort to. Got my carb drink, energy. And unfortunately I have to wear my knee straps now. Only recently, probably 2 months ago, I went back to squatting. I haven't squatted for a long time because of my back. Got under the rack and it's my knees that have gone now. So I'm not doing anything stupid. We'll go mid to range weight today, but I'm just a bit over cautious and wear my knee straps and everything now. Can't get injured 10.5 weeks out. It's not happening.
So I've trained with Ryan now from day one, really, throughout his entire career. Every year we've been over in Vegas. I've travelled to every show he's been in practically to support him. But this year, the fact that, you know, it's at the Arnold, it's in the UK, it's going to bode well for him. You know, we're going to do well. I believe 100% he's going to take the title this year. He's going to qualify for the Olympia next year, and next year he's going to take that first place title. He wants to win he's won the Arnold before. It's the first one at UK, so the plan is to win that. Really, you know, make a point again there. He's back in, you know, he's back in business. For me, I think Ryan's best condition was probably 2016 at the Olympia, but I think he always brings an amazing package. Trains harder than anybody. I meet so many people who say, you know, men's physique guys, do they train hard? Well, Ryan is a credit to that because he trains harder than any bodybuilder you're going to meet.
There is one question I noticed have been asked repeatedly. What if I don't win the Arnold Classic? And for me, that is not an option. So I'm not making a plan B because obviously people are saying, what if you don't qualify? What other show would you do? That then is already manifesting that you're not going to win the Arnold and get that qualification. So for me, it's all about putting everything into this prep, positive thinking, and that we're going to get the win. So there's no plan B, it's all about plan A, which is winning that Arnold Classic show.
What was your weight?
I told you to put it in the phone.
218.4.
Alex. On the side, touch tricep.
Yeah, nutrition's been exactly the same, mate. Yeah, no deviation out whatsoever. Right, where are we at?
So body weight, obviously slightly down, 0.3 of a kilo. Yeah. But we've actually seen body fat reduction, so 10.9, which was the first measurement on this prep, now down to 10.4%.
Right.
So loss in body fat to 0.5%, which is good.
Yeah.
And that's a reduction pretty much in half a kilo of fat gone.
So basically these readings are showing now, in layman's terms, that 9.5 weeks out from the last Olympia I did, ish, from when we recorded, at this stage I was 8.7% body fat, and this is what I These are the only measurements I really take on board. I leave the rest to Dan and whatever you. I'm 10.4 now, exactly 9.5 weeks out, so around the same time from this show, which is showing that I'm obviously carrying more body fat at this stage. But what Dan's trying to say and to reason with me and make sure that I don't start doing hill sprints at night and marathons is I'm actually carrying a lot more muscle mass now. So from 83.4, I'm now 88.9. So there's quite a big, like 5 kg difference in that. So yeah, although I'm carrying a bit more fat, I'm carrying a lot more muscle at this stage.
I first met Ryan, it was 6 years ago, and it was Instagram. I did follow Ryan, he came up on my Explore page, and I remember just seeing this little picture of him, clicking on it, and I'd not long had Instagram, so I was just kind of figuring out how to use it. Anyway, he came up on my Explore page and I was like, oh wow. So I followed him, and I never in a million years expected him to follow back, but I think it was like 7 o'clock the next morning I woke up, I looked at my phone, it said, Ryan J. Terry is now following you, and I was like, that's not that guy, surely it's not that guy, and it was.
A few weeks later, it was his birthday. I could see that on Instagram and I thought, right, this is your time, like now or never, just send happy birthday. And that was what I did. We just got chatting from there, and I think it was probably about just over a month later. I was away on holiday and he said, oh, you know, let's meet up and go out for a drink. And I said to him, well, I'm not free this weekend, I'm not free next weekend, but I'm free the weekend after. And he said, oh, how convenient, Valentine's night. And honestly, at that point, I'd literally not thought of it at all. So that was quite embarrassing because it looked very forward. However, he did take me out on Valentine's night. That was the first time we ever met. And he drove from Doncaster to Birmingham, which I think took him 2.5, nearly 3 hours. We'd never spoke on the phone, nothing. It was literally just messaging on Instagram. And yeah, he came to pick me up. I was still at my parents' house at the time. And I'm fairly sure they met him before I did. I think they were going out just as he arrived. Bless him. And that was it. Every weekend after that we met up, and the rest is history.
I remember a girl, I would sneak into her parents' house. I could stay for hours, and we looked into each other's eyes. Hey, I thought I was Romeo, I was looking for my Juliet. And as soon as I left, I told my friends. When we were younger, we were never running out of time. As long as we had each other, oh, everything was black and white. When we were younger, we were never running out of time. As long as we had each other, oh, everything was black and white. When we were younger.
So come Olympia 2019, I was quite heavily pregnant. When I first took the pregnancy test, I started working out dates and I said to Ryan, you do realise this baby is due the weekend of the Olympia this year? And he said, no, you've got that wrong. And I was like, no, I'm fairly adamant it's definitely that weekend. And we went for our 12-week scan after that. And yeah, baby was due on the weekend of the Olympia. So panic mode set in. Fortunately, unfortunately, I don't know how you want to put it. I know the pandemic hasn't been a positive thing at all, but the silver lining for us was that Olympia was delayed, which ultimately meant that Ryan could be here for the birth of Alfie, and it also meant that he got to spend a little bit of time with Alfie before he had to go over to Dubai, where he had to spend a few weeks out there before he then went over to Las Vegas. So Alfie would have been 3 months old. It was very, very, very difficult for all of us. Ryan, we knew that, I think in total Ryan was away for a month. That was hard, a newborn, and Dad leaving for a month wasn't ideal, but we knew that from both sides we knew that was what had to be done. So I guess I'm particularly grateful that the Arnold has come around, because I can see that fire back in Ryan again. And honestly, after last Olympia, I really questioned whether he was ever going to compete ever again. I can see the old Ryan back again. Not the last time you'll see Ryan Terry.
So, as you can see, Superior Wellness on behalf of Miami Spas, they are here delivering my sauna, infrared sauna. I've got Johnny to come up on the day, he's my physio, and he's going to talk to you a little bit about why we're having this installed. Obviously we're 10 weeks out from the Arnold, so it's quite key for recovery.
So one of the main benefits that I like about infrared saunas is the increase in circulation, blood flow and oxygen transportation around the body. So again, if you're wanting to recover from training and things like that, getting oxygen to the muscles through the blood supply, that's my main benefit of using an infrared sauna.
It's my work, so I can get away from the missus for 30 minutes. No, I'm joking, don't pull that.
It's going in.
But on a serious note, again, 20 minutes, 30 minutes just away from the world, shut off, put some music on, you know, visualizations, relax.
So I've shifted my training now from 4:30 at night. We're now going to be training at 12:30 in the afternoon, which gives me enough time to be able to get into the sauna. We could even, or we're contemplating either putting an ice bath in there, so we've got cold and hot water therapy. Obviously we've got the jacuzzi here, and we've got the river. If we want to go old school and like back one with nature, we can just jump in the river.
Hey, what's up guys, this is Andre, IRVB Pro. When you think of men's physique, you think of Ryan Terry, because he is not that big, he's not small, and he's got like the symmetry, the posing, the whole look. So growing up, he was an inspiration for me.
He killed me today. I wasn't ready for this. Literally, I wasn't ready. Like, shoulders, I can pull it off. But nah. He decided to start strong. I definitely need a rest day tomorrow. Not for real.
Serious?
Yeah.
So the last time I saw and spoke to Andre was actually last week. Before then was at the 2020 Olympia backstage, and it was a great catch up last week down at Fusion, Stamford. We trained shoulders. I'll call it now, he'll be in the top 5 this year for sure. There's something wrong if he isn't, because his physique is on another level, his condition is phenomenal. And I think in the next 5 years he could be Mr. Olympia if he plays his cards right. He does have to be careful about maybe going too far. Me stood next to him, felt like I was a little boy, I'd never trained before, because the sheer size of him is just incredible. But as he's going with Hani obviously as his coach and guidance, he's got a very good chance of being the best in the world and having that Olympia title one day. So Andre is about 7 or 8 years younger than me, in his mid-20s, and as you can see on his social media, he's absolutely smashing it. He's just got that look which everyone's obviously aiming towards, and especially the division is. And I remember the days, obviously the old body power days, the expo days, where he used to queue up and come and see me when he was just a boy starting out, and now he's the guy who all the queues and people are wanting to see at these events. So it's crazy obviously how it goes full circle. I'm classed as an old boy now in the industry, whereas I was always the guy who was the young lad, the little shit basically, coming through the ranks, whereas now I'm an old boy. Right, so we have trained this morning, upper body circuit, and this afternoon I've got like a functional fitness strength training session with Dan Vankovic, who does my calipers. This is something I used to do back in 2016-17 time, and I really enjoyed it. It was just very taxing on the body, and I used to lose a lot of weight on it, so that was kind of why we took it out. But for me, my physique back then is what I kind of aspire to look like now. Like, I don't seem to have that athletic look like I did back then. So that's what I'm going to try and bring back by reinventing what we used to do. So this is my first time doing it, and I'm going to be very poo at it. I must admit, I'm going to be crap at it, but it starts me to go on. We are 8 weeks out, just over 8 weeks out. So we're going to start implementing it once every 10 days, so it's not going to be too much. Last week, or 2 weeks ago, I was 10.5% body fat. This week we're 8.5, so I've had a good drop, which is always positive, and it always puts me in a good mindset and motivated for the next 7 weeks. My muscle mass, my lean muscle mass, is up by about 4 kg from my last Olympia prep, which is a hell of a lot for me. It is brilliant. So that again keeps me motivated, keeping me moving forward. And I'm determined this year, I'm not going to sacrifice my condition, because that's what I did last Olympia, and I did it in 2017. I had 2 attempts at trying to come in fuller and bigger to match some of the American physiques, the 3D physiques, and it just doesn't suit me, and I get lost in the pack and couldn't go down in ranks. So this prep is just being about getting as shredded as I can, as grainy as I can, and if it means me coming down and being smallest on stage, that's what's going to happen. I'm just going to hope my shape, condition, symmetry pulls me through it for that first place. So we're down here at Dan's house, and like I said before, I've said this a million times, but Dan does my caliper readings. I prep myself, I do the nutrition, the training, everything myself, but Dan's someone who we've worked together for near on 6 years now, and he just makes me accountable when it comes to my caliper readings, because he knows what he's talking about with that. So I'm a bit anxious about the results of this today. I'm nervous, I want to know what they are, because I've had a big weight drop since we last did these. So my last weight was 218.4, we're now 212, and that was probably, what was it, 10 days ago? Probably about 10 days ago, so it's a big drop in that time. So we need to see what has dropped, whether it's muscle or fat. So we'll get in and go check it out.
So yeah, so body weight from last measurements, which was 99.2 kilos, has gone to 96.1, which is quite unusual in the fact that it's a big drop in total body weight. So then obviously now we're drawn into, right, have we dropped that from muscle, have we dropped that from fat, and then also what have we changed in order to elicit that result? It's a 2/3 from fat to muscle split. So out of the 3 kilos we've lost, 2 kilos has come from fat, 1 has come from muscle. So we can take some, pointers home from that as regards to, right, well, how much have we adjusted the cardio, how much have we adjusted, carbs around training, and, there's a few other protocols that we can look, so that hopefully next time it's, a kilo of fat, the same amount of muscle would be better. But we are going to lose a bit along the way. That's inevitable.
If you look at like my fat percentage, so last time, which was 2 weeks ago exactly, 14 days ago, it was 10.4% my body fat was. We're now at 8.5, so it's obviously had a good reduction of that. But my lean mass was at 88.9, it's now at 88, so I've obviously dropped muscle mass as well, which I can't afford to do. So this just means these results, obviously I'm moving in the right direction, I'm losing body fat, but I need to reassess a few things on what to do. Whether my output, like we say, my cardio is a bit too intense, maybe to reduce the output, or whether we put food back in, maybe increase my carbs up slightly. But what I'm shocked about on this is the fact that in these 2 weeks I've actually not, other than take, I say 50 grams of carbs out, 10 grams out of each meal, if that. I haven't really changed anything on my nutrition in 2 weeks. So for my metabolism to go through the roof and drop suddenly was a bit of a shock to me actually. So
So how many weeks out are we?
So we are now 4 weeks out from the Arnold, and yeah, things are getting serious now. The diet is, regarding food, becoming a lot more restricted. The training's being intensified, shall we say, so a bit more cardio at night now, a lot more posing practice, which is quite a big expenditure, and the heavy weight is, we're backing off a little bit and we're adding more like supersets, volume kind of work. So yeah, I had a little rude awakening this week, I'm not gonna lie. My old coach, who's a very good friend of mine, who retired 4 years ago, doesn't have anything to do with the bodybuilding world anymore. He came and had a look at me, just because I'm prepping myself now, and I just wanted him as a mentor more than anything, just to see where I'm at. And he come and had a quick look. And the one thing I always respected about Ken was he was brutally honest with me. He would never sugarcoat anything, and it's nice having people around you who effectively blow smoke up your arse, saying you look really good and keeping you motivated, keeping you positive. But you kind of need that one real person who's going to tell you look shit or tell you the truth, and he was that guy this week. So he basically came in and said, I need to cut food. I got a lot of like back fat, to lower back fat. My back's not coming through because it's still holding quite a lot. and around my midsection. So that for me is what I needed, because that's kind of the green light for me to start pushing now. So I've reduced my food quite drastically. We even took 100 grams of carbs out just in my pre and intra drinks, and then we've took carbs out of each meal. We've increased my expenditure, so like I said, I'm doing cardio after training now, posing practice every night, which is big, and now we work. So before Ken had a chat with me this week and was real with me, there was an inkling telling me, because my waist is still wide, so I go off my waist and making sure that's coming in, and I wasn't feeling, although I was hungry and whatnot, I wasn't feeling like really struggling on prep. So I knew in my hearts of hearts, if I'm brutally honest, that I needed to step it up, but I just didn't realise how much I needed to do it. So now I know that, it just kind of reiterated in my head and confirmed that I needed to get to work, and that's what I'm doing now. So I just needed that second eyes to tell me, right, now we have to work.
My name is Josh Bridgman. I am an IFBB pro, and I've been competing in the game for like 6 or 7 years. I have followed Ryan for the best part of a decade. I actually first met Ryan, or first saw Ryan I should say, in 2012 at the Leamington Spa, I think it was the Leamington Spa Classic, UKBFF, before he was a pro. And I watched him on stage, and honestly that was a huge part of my inspiration towards my journey. It was a huge part, seeing Ryan on stage and absolutely smoke people. I visualised myself on that stage since that day in 2012, so I definitely owe a huge part of my motivation for this game to Ryan.
Control all the way down.
So with Ryan having such a decorated past, accolades, achievements within the industry, there's obviously going to be some type of some buzz in the air about Ryan returning on the Arnold Classic in England, UK, home soil. I truly believe that Ryan doesn't need to feel the pressure. He's done what he needs to do in the industry. He is the highest placing UK athlete maybe of all time, from my understanding, within men's physique, and you know he's done what he needs to do over the years. He doesn't owe anyone anything, but I have no doubt that he's going to feel some type of pressure, but I also have no doubt that he's going to bring his A game as well, so I'm super excited to see the results.
The session we've just done, I've said it to the videographers here before, totally different to what I've been used to. Myself, Tom and Josh, we train in completely different styles. So today, I was saying, was the first day I've done just delts in probably years. So I haven't trained this for a long time. I'm sure you'll see on the video, really high intensity, there's drop sets in there, lots of giant sets with movement between movements, completely different, which is cool for us. It's good to get to train in a different way, and obviously see how Ryan's built his physique. So obviously with Ryan going into the Arnolds in 5 weeks, it's only fair to give a bit of prediction. I'll be completely honest, and this is not just because it's on this video, I'll be so surprised if he doesn't get the winner. As I've already said, he's one of the top guys in the world. He's competing against some other great physiques, some from the UK, some from abroad, but honestly, hands down, I think Ryan will take the win.
Morning guys, hope you're all well. So I'm starting this vlog with the RT cam because Lee, my videographer, is not up here yet. It's very early here in Retford, Nottinghamshire. As you can see, I'm in my home gym and I've just finished up my cardio. So fasted cardio has been implemented for the last 16 weeks of my prep. We are 3 weeks out, or just under 3 weeks out. So I'm doing an hour steady state and then about 20 to 30 minutes posing practice after my AM cardio and my PM weight training. So quite a lot of posing practice is going into this prep, and there's a reason for that, but I'm not going to tell you too much about it, but stay tuned. I will talk about it more after the Arnold, but it's exciting and I'm excited to explain and talk to you about it. But anyway, I don't want to give too much away. So I've had, I don't know if you can see in the background, I've had my Nutri-Greens, my EAAs, which I still class as fasted. Some people out there don't, and I completely respect that because I am technically taking calories in and I'm not in a fasted state. But for me, I will always class that as fasted until I've had my first solid complex meal. That's when I'm not fasted from then on. But today's an exciting day. I'm not just on here ranting for any reason. Today is a refeed day for me, and it's the first one I'm doing on this prep. And as you all know, I'm prepping myself now. I have no coach, I'm looking after myself. I've been in the game for 20 years, I've been competing for 10 of those. And I just felt I'm at that stage of my life where I feel like I've learned how my body adapts and how it changes, and I want to do it myself. I want to know, I want to see if I can prep myself. And I know in my hearts of hearts I can, I've got the confidence to do it now. And certain things, I'm not talking negative, but certain things in between me and my old coach, we just clashed a little bit, and it's really difficult when you're on prep, when you're just not in tune with like the direction of which you're trying to go. So for me, this prep so far has been amazing. It's been very, very difficult. It's been very challenging. I have a family to contend with now, whereas back in the old days, it was just me, myself and I, so I could be very selfish, but I'm not that guy anymore. I'm a married man and a dad, and those are a huge deal to me. So it's still no excuses. I am making it work. It's just, like I say, a few more challenges on this prep. That being said, I'm exactly where I want to be 3 weeks out. I'm happy with where we're at, which I don't often say. But this past, I'd say 4 or 5 days, my body, it's not that it's not responding, it's just very weak. When I go to bed at night, I'm absolutely exhausted, which is normal when you're on prep. But when I'm waking up, I'm just as exhausted. So it's like the days are rolling into one. I'm not refueling or re-energizing or getting the rest I need in order to restart my day. And my metabolism is at the stage now where I can feel it. My leptin levels need boosting. I need my metabolism to kickstart again. And that's what refeeds are all about. And you need to be sensible in when you're gonna have them, and you need to know your body well enough that it's not just that the hunger's talking, it is actually your body not responding. And that's where we're at. So today I'm gonna show you what I typically do on a refeed day. And this is major. So there's a lot of food going in today. I have high carbs anyway. My metabolism is very fast, so I require high carbs anyway. But this is a whole new level of high carbs for me anyway. And also, I'm introducing some saturated fats and some normal essential fats also as well on top of what I normally take. This again, I just touched on it a little minute ago, is to boost my leptin levels as well as like my metabolism, get everything fired up. So yes, it could be a struggle today with how much I'm trying to put in, but we're going to take you on the journey. I'm going to show you each meal, break it down, show you how I'm going to be training. I am training, but it'll have to be after meal 2, so there won't be a huge difference at that because there'll only be 2 meals gone in. But if I train later on with a full amount of carbs in, then that would have been a different story. But it is what it is. I'm sticking to the plan. I'm not deviating for anything or anybody. It's selfish mode. 3 weeks to bring my best and to show you guys that Ryan Terry is not done and there's a new me. And yeah, I'm looking forward to showing you. And I'm going to stop blabbering on. Meal 1, we're coming for you. So we're going to go into meal 1 now. We've got Alf in the background, so if you hear all this noise, it's him playing in the background. But the first meal is still going to be the same meal as I normally have, but it's just going to be a big increase. So we've got 150 grams of carbs going in, where typically I'm on 100 now. We've got 50 grams of flaked almonds or almond butter going in, which is normally 20. There's Alfie chirping in. We've got 50 grams of blueberries going in, so I've just chucked all over the floor, instead of 30. and then with the protein is going to stay the same. Throughout the day, the protein will stay the same. If not, it might even dip down. If my digestion is becoming a bit difficult, I will take my protein down, because today is all about saturated fats, essential fats, and most importantly, carbs. So I'm going to get on with it, and then I'll show you the finished product before I smash it. Have it, guys. I know it doesn't look too appealing in a fruit bowl, mixing bowl, but that is a lot, and I cannot wait to devour it. Can we, Alfie? Guys, so we're on to meal 2. It's 11:15. I train at 12:15, so it's a good hour before we train. And as you know, massive refeed today. I'm really hungry, even though that was a big breakfast meal at 8 o'clock. I'm absolutely starving again, and I'm getting the shakes, so definitely time to eat. The next meal is just nice and simple: chicken, rice, and asparagus. So a typical bodybuilding diet. We've got 200 grams of chicken breast, which again, I said before my breakfast meal, but my protein won't change throughout today. It's only my carbs and fat sources that are going to change. So we're going to increase my saturated fats by putting burgers in today, a lot more red meat. We're also going to be putting some whole eggs in there to get some saturates from the yolks. But now we're going to keep it basic, because we want to get fast acting carbs into the body, ready for a big session in an hour's time. Right guys, so meal 2 has settled now. We're going to head down to the gym in the next 15 minutes, so I'm going to get all my pre, intra, post-workout shakes done. Up until today, I've been on 0 carbs intra and pre, and I've had 100 grams post-workout via multidextrin. Today we're upping it, so we're going 50 grams pre, 50 grams intra, and 100 grams post. So we're effectively doubling my my input of carbs around training. We've got creatine monohydrate, which I've been taking intra. We're down to about 3 grams now. I started on 6, loaded up, and I'll take that out about a week out from show day. So we're 3 weeks, 2.5 weeks out, so that'll still stay in. We've got the Impact Whey, which is a whey isolate, or sorry, a whey protein concentrate, very low in carbs. Chocolate orange is mine and Amy's favourite, so that's a winner post-workout. Got BCAAs, which is intra and pre. Liquid L-carnitine before we start training. That's, if anybody doesn't know what that is, that's going to help, one, with energy, and it's going to help basically use stored fats as energy. So it's going to break down stored fats, and we can utilise that whilst we're training. The pump, which is something I desperately need at the minute. I've been struggling without that, but hopefully today we should get a decent pump with the influx of carbs, and then I'm going to have a little bit of a pre-workout, but not too much, so we'll have half a scoop of that, which is 100 grams of caffeine, something like that. I always mix my supplements together, because if you're trying to do this individually, it's near on impossible, because you've got that much going in. So yeah, I don't want to be all day taking different powders and trying to think about it methodically. So for me, chuck it all in 3 shakes around training, done. Keep it simple. And as well, a lot of supplementation is taken around training for the absorption rate. Obviously, I would prefer to get all my supplementation, nutrition through food, solid food, but that's not possible to the degree or the level I want. And especially when I'm training, I want to get it in as quick as possible. So in and around training, supplementation is key, absolute key. Like a whey protein or an isolate concentrate, that'd be in the system and in the body within an hour of you consuming it, and it'll be working, replenishing the broken down muscle fibers you've got, whereas a solid meal would take 3 to 4 hours to digest. So yeah, it just helps. Yeah, you're copying. You're copying, Daddy. The last time I spoke to you, the last time I sat down and gave you an update on where I was at the lifting club. We was 5-6 weeks out. And I was at a crossroad, because I knew I wasn't where I wanted to be, but I was trying to come in bigger, something different, and have a little bit of a different game plan. And I'm not sure why I was doing that, because it's not me, and I'll never be the biggest guy on stage. And doing that and coming away from what I've always been good at, which is like focusing on condition and stuff, was only ever going to really hinder me, and mentally I wasn't where I wanted to be. And I told you about my coach, my ex-coach, who I've been with for 10 years. He retired out of the game and whatnot. I asked for his advice to just come in and be honest with me. Like, he was a guy who never sugarcoated anything, and he was brutal. And they're the people you need in your corner. And I just wanted him to come and have a look. Like I say, he's out of the game. And he basically just didn't even have to say anything. He just let me hit a back shot, grabbed my back fat, like really grabbed it, and was basically said, you've got work to do. And that was the green light, what I needed to hear for me to really get in the trenches and really start grafting. So since then, it's been about, just under 2 weeks, I'd say, since then. And we have been working, really, really working. And although it's been difficult, I've loved every minute of it. It's back how I used to train. It's back how I used to diet when I first started competing, and just that mental battle. But although it being really hard, it's still being a positive. Being so exhausted that I couldn't finish emails without falling asleep, and I had to cancel photo shoots and stuff because I just haven't got the energy. And that does sound not very good, but at the same time, I know that I'm pushing myself to my limits, and I know come show day, I will have given everything I wanted to it. Some people might think it's drastic, some people it's over the top and you don't need to go that far, but for me mentally, I do. That's where I need to be. So we've implemented that, been very low carb, low calories, and we've dropped, I'd say, near on 9–10 pounds, but I'm unsure of that. Don't quote me on that, because old school, I've stopped weighing myself, I've stopped doing my caliper readings, I've stopped just everything. All I'm focusing on is eating, sleeping, training, that's about it, and posing practice. And yeah, 3 weeks out, we are there, we're nearly ready, I'm happy with where we're at. And today is about refeeding because of that. I don't want to go too far and just keep eating to muscle and going catabolic, and my body's at that stage now where we're very close to going catabolic. When I'm training, I'm not getting pumps, I'm exhausted first thing in the morning, which you shouldn't really be. You should still have a bit of energy from sleeping through the night. So yeah, we're halfway through the day, I'm carbing up. As you can see, I'm blabbering, talking, which means I've got more energy, and it's all going well. That's it, chest done. As you can see, getting leaner. The carbs were utilised quite well. I've only had 2 meals, but I definitely felt a good pump today. Got triceps done first because that's one of my weaker muscle groups, so I wanted to emphasise and put my focus on the triceps first. You could see I faded very quickly, which is to be expected 3 weeks out from a show. Done my condition check then. Happy with where things are. Still need improvements, but that's obviously the competitive side in me. My chariot awaits. We are going to go for meal 3 now, and we're going to carry on the carb up. And yeah, I'm excited for this, I'm hungry. So, 100 grams of multidextrin, and we've got 40 grams of impact whey protein in this. We're talking about meal 3 now. Meal 3. So, I touched on earlier about it's not only going to be a carb up day, refeed day, it's also going to be saturated fats and essential fats. We're increasing that to help with my leptin levels and reset them as well. So, meal 3 is going to be lean steak burgers. This is 85%, so there's still 15% fat in this, so they're not extra lean steak. We've got 230 grams, which is an ample amount, so we'll have both of those burgers. What was I going to say about it? Yeah, like I say, we're having 2 red meat meals today, so I'll have steak later on. And then we've got potatoes. I'm going to make them into chips. We're going to add some fats to them, coconut oil. So I'm going to cook them in coconut oil. 500 grams. So if I have white potato in a minute, it'll be 200 max. So we're going for 500 grams in cooked weight. Some of you may know this already, but cooked weight and uncooked weight is very similar in potato. Like they don't really lose much weight between being cooked. So, and then I'll probably have some asparagus with it. Meal 3, let's do this. Oh, the wife's coming. Hello, okay. Oh, he's awake, and the son. He was fast asleep and he pushed the door open. Hello, lad. Hello, young man. We're having potatoes. We're having chips. Chips. So yeah, my favourite meal of the day is, I would say my breakfast with my oats, because it's the only sweet meal I have. Then I'd say salmon. And it's weird because me and Amy have both said this. When I'm dieting, salmon, I really look forward to. It's my last meal of the day and it's really tasty and I enjoy it. As soon as I finish prepping, and Amy was the same when she finished prepping, just couldn't touch it. Just absolutely couldn't even stand the smell of it in the house. But yet when I'm dieting, I look forward to it all day. Crazy. So, this is my new godsend. It's a bit of an old one, it's a dry fryer, but absolute game changer. Amy's mum and dad gave us theirs. How long ago was it, babe? Six? Yeah, I think a bit longer, yeah, about 5-6 weeks ago. Oh, absolute game changer. The last 6 weeks I've enjoyed every meal, cooked them quite fresh each day. Beautiful. Game changer. He's well out of it. What? How am I going to get 500 on there? That's only 275. No way. Hey man, there's no way I can get 500 on there. Look at that. That's impossible. I have to do it at 400. There's no way I can get 500 on there. That's playing with my head, I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, you imagine you've restricted your calories and then you get that, you get given that. It's a bit like, whoa. But I have agreed, I'm doing it, so let's go. This next part is about family life. I've touched on it a little bit, but I've not obviously gone into mass detail, but this is my first official prep. I was prepping for the Olympia when little man was like 12 weeks old, but I got a get out of free jail card because I went to Dubai for the last 6 weeks of my prep. So I wasn't really affected by having a newborn in the house, but I was very fortunate with that. So now this is my first official prep, having to balance family life with prepping, and I've got to admit it has been hard, really hard. I wouldn't have it any other way, and my main priority and my job in life is now a dad, a husband, and then a competitor, and it will always be that way. But that being said, it's still doable. It's just having to be more proactive, more structured in your training, your day-to-day stuff. So Alfie has been amazing. The last couple of weeks he has really struggled. He's caught a few viruses, a handful of mouth disease, ear infection, and it's just been a nightmare with his sleep patterns because of it. He's not been able to eat, and we've had scary nights. So I'd say the last 7 days we've had a couple of hours sleep each night, and anybody knows it when you're competing or when you're prepping, or any bodybuilder, sleep is so important. And the closer you get to a show, the more fatigued the more rest you need, the lower body fat you need, the immune system's lower. So it has been challenging with no sleep. But Amy, my wife, has stepped up. She's been absolutely phenomenal, trying to take the nights on. Even though I'm awake with her, she's the one physically getting out of bed and taking the reins on that. So I massively thank her for that. He's now, touch wood, just starting to come out of the illnesses and whatever. So fingers crossed the next 3 weeks I'll be able to get some sleep. Right guys, so we're moving on to meal 4, even though I'm still extremely full. It's now 6 p.m, so we're coming into the evening time, so we're going to be carrying on with the fats. I'm going for salmon fillets, around 220 grams, and then we're going to go for sweet potato. I haven't really typically had sweet potato on this prep, but there are benefits to sweet potato. It is a low GI, so it's a bit more slow releasing. We're going to go for 500 grams again. I'm going to do it in chip form. We're going to add some, I'd say coconut oil for this one, just to put some trans fats in there as well. I will have flaxseed oil with this as well, just a scoop of it, again to increase the fats. That's my son, he's getting very aggy, he's getting hungry. It's nearly dinner time for him, or tea time for him. But yeah, like I say, the carb up so far is going well. Touch wood, my stomach is digesting it okay, which I was a bit fearful of, a bit worried about, because obviously I'm not used to this volume of food, but all is okay, all is good. And we're gonna make the most of this extra carbs tomorrow on leg day. Guys, I know I've said this a million times before, but if you want to check out Muscle Food, I'm going to put the link in the description below so it takes you straight to it. I have got a code, I think it's Ryan, gives you £5 off your order, but honestly, they provide every meat source you can imagine. My recommendation is the fillet steaks, the salmon fillets, the 250 salmon fillets, and the chicken breast. They're all winners. Right guys, so meal 4 is, like I said, 500 grams of sweet potato. Like, this is quite difficult mentally because I've been so used to eating so little for so long now. To look at that, that's probably something I would eat over 4 or 5 meals, 6 meals. So to eat it in one sitting, yeah, can play with your mind a little bit, but I know the benefits to a refeed and how vital they are when you're at this stage of prep. So I'm sticking to the plan, I'm getting it done. So in previous years, and obviously when I was younger, my why and my motivation was quite selfish, quite self-inflicted. It was just wanted to be the best in the world at what I did. But now I'm a family man, and my why is definitely making my son proud and my wife proud and providing for them. They're my family, and so far that has been my motivation in this last 10, 11 weeks. And I can't wait, and I'm visualizing winning the Arnold Classic in 3 weeks' time and holding my son up, if I'm allowed to, on the stage and just getting a massive smile out of him. And even had some shorts made and designed in his honour. So this will be his business when he's older. Hopefully, if he wants it. If he doesn't, I'll keep it. But when he's 18, we've got ALTA, which is Alfie Lewis Terry Aesthetics, and I'll be wearing his board shorts on the Arnold Classic stage in 3 weeks' time. And there you have it, meal 4. So we're at 6 o'clock now. I'm gonna smash this, which is meal 4. Alfie, as you can see, is having his tea as well. We're gonna bath, bed him, and then I'm gonna come back to you guys for meal 5, which is a little bit later on, about 9 o'clock before my bed. That'll be on RT camera, because Lee is going home. He ain't staying here all evening. Hello guys, right, so I have got to apologise. I've had absolute stinkers, and it just shows I've got diet brain at the minute, because I wanted to do a full day of eating, refeeding, and as you can see up to this point, you will have seen all the 4 meals beforehand, and everything I was doing up to this point. Not gonna lie, the moment Lee left, my digestive tract was in a serious mess from the amount of calories I was trying to consume, the amount of volume, which my stomach hasn't been used to for a fair few weeks. So instead of filming the last meal, I just got myself in a state, and I actually had to go for a walk to see if I could ease the pain on my stomach. That's how bad my stomach was from eating the volume of food. It was blown up like an egg. I was very gassy, just very uncomfortable, couldn't sit down, lie down, and I knew I wasn't going to be able to sleep that night, so I had to go and pace the streets and try and make some room and try and like ease, shall we say, the pain. So filming was not on the top of the list. So I'm going to apologise, but you've seen up to this point what I was eating, and then it just went downhill from here. But the last meal was 220 grams of ribeye steak. So all the rest of the days have been fillet steaks. That meal was a ribeye steak, just purely because we needed to increase the fats, and every bit of that steak was eaten. So all the fat, the gristle, the crap, all of it was eaten, because that was the whole point of having a ribeye instead of a fillet steak. By the way, I'm just feeding little man here, so if you hear him muttering, it's because he wants his veggie straws. But on top of that steak, I had 2 fried eggs, which were cooked in coconut oil. So again, we got some more fats, translucent fats, trans fats, saturated fats, and we had some more protein from the eggs. We also had 500 grams of white potato again. So I was testing my body to see, my arm's killing, testing my body to see how I'd react to more potato rather than rice. And we got a definite answer in that, which my body was struggling to digest the potato. So when I come to carb up for the Arnold, I now know I'm going to stick to rice rather than potato. So although I was in pain and although it was a horrible process, it kind of needed to be done because I wanted to see what I'm going to carb up for the Arnold, and I don't want to make any mistakes at the Arnold. So crossing every T, dotting every I. I think that's what they say. I had some asparagus, which not really important on that meal. And oh, mate. Oh. And then I crammed in a banana after, just for some fast-acting carbs. So yeah, like I said, I apologise I didn't film it. It's obviously a bit of an anticlimax to come to the end and just see me rattling on, and you didn't see the last meal. But diet brain, along with in a lot of pain with my stomach, that's what it resulted in. So apologies on that, but I'm going to end the video here. Thank you for watching. Like I say, we're just under 2 weeks out. When this video comes out, we'll be under 2 weeks out from the Arnold. And we are where we need to be. Still got work to do, still got a lot of posing practice to do. I need to perfect that posing, but we are on track, and I really appreciate your support. So thank you for watching this video. Please subscribe to the channel. I know I haven't been as active as I should have been on there, this prep, but my focus has been on getting ready for this Arnold and not content as much. But Dada, he wants his veggie straws. So we are now 7 days out from the Arnold Classic 2021, and that means we're going into peak week. I've been prepping for, I'd say officially 12 weeks, but I always clean up and start to get a little bit more regimented 16 weeks out. So nearly 4 months, and in 7 days time, we're going to showcase what we've been working on. This is the first prep in a long time, I'd say well over 3 years, 4 years, where I've gone back to basics, gone back to my old school training, no excuses, hiding behind injuries, just put my absolute everything into it.
I think he's coping tremendously well. I think he's really looking forward to it. He's certainly our favourite, so I've got every confidence he's going to do really well because he's looking phenomenal. And I have noticed a big difference, and his determination is still there. So yeah, I've every confidence, we all have.
Okay, at what age did you start noticing that he had potential good genetics for bodybuilding and physique competitors?
I'd say late teens. So just before he left school, sometimes him and his brother would come with me to the gym, always interested, watching everyone else, following them around, and then wanting to go to the gym as well. So yeah, mid-teens I would say, not late teens, mid-teens, starting to show a really active interest in the gym, because I've always gone to the gym. But yeah, no, he's, again, no encouragement, no, you could just see it in him. He just loves sports and loves being active.
So what's changed massively for me this year is obviously placing 8th last year at the Mr Olympia was absolutely horrific, and looking at the way I looked on stage, I think I was very fortunate to even place 8th. My conditioning was off, and I just didn't peak right, and that was down to the fact that I lost belief in myself, and that wasn't just last year. I think that's been the last few years. I think I fell out of love with bodybuilding. Even though I train and I'm very regimented with my nutrition, I just didn't have that passion and belief that I could win the Olympia. And I turned up, and trying to be the best in the world and stepping up against the best in the world, you can't have that mentality. So I'm not going to lie, this year, January time after the Olympia was in December, I was actually thinking of retiring, because I thought I haven't got what it takes and I don't want to just keep turning up and going down the ranks. I had a break, and obviously I looked around me, Alfie, my newborn son, my wife, just motivation started to kick in. And then when the Arnold came up, it was like I don't know, on UK soil, it was a title no one's got yet, and these are all things what used to fire me up in the early days. Like, it's setting legacies what people haven't got yet, and for me, winning a title that's no one's got is a huge deal to me. Winning it in Europe, winning it in America, and then winning it on UK soil as a trilogy, unbelievable story to tell. And it meant I could prep from home all year, have my friends, family, everybody there to support me. It just felt like it was meant to be. So I decided, if I'm gonna have this go and come back at it, that I was gonna leave no stone unturned, not hide behind any excuses but with injuries, and absolutely go full ham and show people that I'm not done yet and stuff, and that I have still got it. And that's exactly what I've done. And I dare say, like, this is the best shape and condition I've ever been in 1 week out from a show, and I'm determined to be at my best in 7 days time.
So Ryan, I just want to say how, as always, I'm always exceptionally proud of you. Really looking forward to seeing you on the stage again. Sorry we didn't get to America last year because of the pandemic and restrictions, but this year I know you're going to smash it. And so from all of the family, lots of love. I'm not going to say best of luck because you don't need it. You're going to smash it. Well done, son. We're really proud of you.
Hello guys, hope you're all well. So it's the RT cam because Lee's not here yet, and this is where we're starting at. So as you can see, I've just checked into my hotel room and we're down here at the NEC, ready for battle tomorrow, ready for the Arnold Classic. So yeah, the nerves are kicking in, the excitement's kicking in. I've done everything I can. I finished my last depletion circuit this morning. I did my cardio as normal at 5:30 this morning as well. So it's just about getting down here, resting up for a few hours, and then now I'm about to head and get my tan done, athlete check-in, obviously find out about the running of the show tomorrow, all the things we need to know. So this is what my hotel room looks like. When I go to America, it's exactly the same. You have to transform it to suit you, because you become a bit of a hermit for 2 or 3 days and you don't really leave the room, so you need to make it work for you. So this is what I've had to do. So as you can see, microwave, this is what I've brought from home, or I bought it last week. I actually got this into the hotel by wrapping up in birthday wrap, pretending it was a present, but I don't advise doing that. It's just in case, because I didn't want to not have my microwave. We've got freezer packs with all my cooked food ready to go. I've got my weighing scales, which are very important at this stage, so when we're carving up, everything like that, we weigh out. Got my rice cakes, eggs, soya sauce. We got down here ice packs again, loads of water, bottled water. And then this is my bed. I can't stress enough how important these bed sheets are. These come all over the world with me, and that's basically to stop my tan ruining bed sheets and getting fined from the hotel. So that'll be where I'll be sleeping for 2 nights in that, which ain't glamorous. And that's actually about it really. Got TV going on. Yeah, so pretty basic really, but it works for me. I'm settled now, and now I'm gonna head down for my tan, check-ins, all that kind of stuff. So I'm gonna check in with you tomorrow morning when Lee, the videographer, who's going to be a bit better than I am at filming, capturing all the stuff. I'll be a nervous wreck tomorrow, so yeah, I will see you in the morning.
Ride with me if you ride with me, you can slide with me if you feel like 550 on the 5 sticky, come get high with me, that's a deal, right? Ride with me if you ride with me, you can slide with me if you feel like 550 on the 5 sticky, come get high with me, that's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right?
So yeah, show day, we're here. I can't believe 16 weeks has just gone like that. Blood, sweat and tears have gone into this prep. I can honestly say I've given it my absolute everything. And tonight we're going to showcase Ryan 2.0, should we say, so something very different. I'm very proud of the fact that I've prepped myself. It's the first time I've been competing for over 10 years, and this is the first time I've fully done it on my own. Ken Roscoe, my ex-coach who's retired, he was there to the last couple of weeks, just a second pair of eyes to look at. But yeah, it's been a phenomenal journey, and I just want to be able to showcase what I've put together. So I knew at the start of this year that things massively needed to change, and every part of me as a men's physique competitor had to change. I was stuck in my ways like 4 years ago. What worked then doesn't work now, and because I was placing 2nd and 3rd in the world with that type of package, I was stuck in my ways and didn't want to change. But I made a decision this year, it's all or nothing. So I've changed everything. I've changed my shorts, which sounds ridiculous, but that was a big thing to me. You will see what I mean. I've changed my posing. I've conformed to the new men's physique US type of posing. I've changed my physique in the fact that we've gone for a grainy but bigger, harder look, and I've put more into my mental game as well. I think over the last couple of years I just got complacent, lost belief in myself, and just did what I needed to get through the years. Whereas this year it's been completely different, and I'm hoping I can show you what that's transpired to on stage this evening. So this is not something I would normally say, because I'm not the most confident person. I'm always a very nervous type of athlete, but yeah, I can honestly say this is the best I've ever felt. It's the hardest I've ever worked, and yeah, it's the proudest I've ever felt this close to a show. So we've still got a few more hours left to go, and obviously I still need to pump up and still need to do what I need to do on stage. But as far as condition and physique, it's definitely the best package I'm bringing to stage. So what I typically feel like backstage is mixed emotions. Obviously I'm extremely nervous, but at the same time I know I've got a job to do, and I'm reiterating what I have to do, the things I need to remember for stage, and just keeping calm whilst I pump up. So it's putting all my collective thoughts together, focusing what the job is in hand, and making sure all the T's are crossed and all the I's are dotted. I do want to take the time to say a massive thank you to each and every one of you who have supported me. Obviously I've been in the industry a long time, and it still doesn't get any less more important to me, the support from you guys. So everybody who sent me well wishes, best wishes, commented on pictures, and just in general been supportive of my journey, I just want to say a huge thank you. No matter what happens tonight, I'm proud that I've got the support from you guys, so thank you very much. It's important this year to keep everything on point.
So I'm not going to lie, there's a hell of a lot of pressure on me for the Arnold this year.
As you can see, we are well into prep now. What if I don't win the Arnold Classic? And for me, that is not an option.
Could we take the award to number 38, Emil Walker? In third place, could we take the award to number 31, Chow Long Hong? In second place for our men's physique, could we take the award to number 29, Ryan John Baptiste. And our winner of the Olympia 2022 qualification and the first winner of the Arnold's Classic UK 2021, Mr. Ryan.